Morning. No, it's not actually. Afternoon. 4 minutes past 12 now. Yes, hello, we're back on the seat of a digger and hopefully we're going to do some fixing today. Connor's here. We've been at a little job this morning which we may be going back to this afternoon with some bits. Yeah, bit of a pain in the backside, but never mind. But I thought we'll just start the video here because I did film while I was down there, but I didn't sleep well last night. In fact, it was after 2 o'clock in the morning before I got to sleep last night, that's for sure. And yeah, my head's all over the place. I just can't make a decision. I can't make my mind up what I'm doing, where I'm at. So the previous clips were absolute junk. So we'll start that job afresh, or I'll introduce you to that job when we head back down to it. This is a 140 LC-7. It has got an AdBlue inducement fault. However, when I've turned the machine on, tracked it over to here, there's been no faults present. So we're going to see what all has been wrong with it. Okay, so we've got a lot of logged error codes. The two codes that I was coming to look at were these two codes here, that one and that one. These are both tampering error codes, and apparently there was no other codes related, no other codes active, just these two. But I'm pretty sure there should be a fault code to activate the inducement faults. They're basically inducement level warning faults from what I can gather. We've got a def under pressure error at metering control. AdBlue pump pressure is too low, and that occurred at the same time as this first inducement fault became active. We've got various different other error codes here for differential DPF differential pressure, DPF regen failure, DPF regen generation switch, short circuit to battery, which is quite often when somebody presses and holds the button too long. And then we've got a couple of throttle valve error codes here as well. We've ran the machine up to working temperature now, and we've been looking at the AdBlue, or the after treatment side of things here. The NOx conversion efficiency, if I pull that dipper arm in, we're getting a really good conversion efficiency there. And the ppm, so that 515 is your upstream and the 30 is your downstream. That's good. The differential pressure is good as well. I noticed that the last successful regen was 38 hours ago, so it has been regenerating. What else can I tell you? AdBlue pressure is good and stable at the moment. And also, oops, the only thing that stands out as being a problem is the AdBlue quality. Where did I see that? Here, look. Oh, it's changed now. We're at 27%. It was at 25 when we initially started. So I'm a bit dubious about that. Do we have an issue with the quality sensor? Is that what's bringing on a tampering code? Or is that an accurate reading and our AdBlue quality isn't great, therefore it'll be using more, the pump will be working harder to supply more AdBlue. So I think what we'll do, because this is the first time I've been to this machine. We weren't the supplying dealers of this machine, it was a Euro Auctions purchase. I think what we'll do is we will run the machine back down and we'll drain the AdBlue tank, put some fresh stuff in it, restart the machine, see if the def quality changes. It should be better, and also we'll clear all the fault codes. I've got a log of what those fault codes are, and give the machine back to the customer, let them work it for a bit. We're pretty handy for popping out if it does need to have a second visit. We were just literally calling this machine ideally just to clear the code so it could get on with a bit of work and get a sort of idea of what we might need, and go from there. That is the plan. Right, we've just drained the tank, and towards the end of it running out, and it started to run red. And now we've smelled the tank, haven't we, Connor? What does it smell like, Connor?
Diesel.
Diesel. So that sucks. That really sucks. Yeah, it's going to need a bit more than just a fresh can of AdBlue in there. Oh, Lord. Today is not going well, I must admit. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is blow out all the AdBlue lines, remove the top of the AdBlue tank, and we'll get our hand in there and handful of clean rags, get that all cleaned out. Then we're going to have to use a compressor, blow through all the lines, all the way up to here where the AdBlue injector is, blow that all out. And then what we're going to do is put everything back together by plugging the AdBlue line back on up here. Because what we'll do with that is we'll use the laptop to set the pump off, pumping what we know is good AdBlue right through the system and into a jug. And then fingers crossed this customer might be lucky and it hasn't damaged the AdBlue pump. AdBlue pumps are designed to disintegrate the pump. It's like a diaphragm, a rubber diaphragm, and that rubber is made up of material that is designed to disintegrate, deteriorate if it gets any hydrocarbons on it. So that's oil, diesel, petrol, spirits, anything like that. So low AdBlue pump pressure fault codes logged on the machine. We're not sure. It is pumping at a decent pressure, but yeah, we're going to do that. It'll only take half an hour. Right, that's the tank sender off. It is absolutely horrendous. The diesel, or whatever it is, presume it's diesel like, has swelled that o-ring, so I don't think we're going to get that o-ring to go back in. To seal the tank back up, tank here, this rubber seal that seals this is all manky, and in there it is, you can see the bluey kind of haze on the bottom of there. Yuck. Joys like. Anyway, we don't have an AdBlue filter on the van, so either way we're going to need to go back to the yard. That's 2 reasons to go back to the yard now. Thankfully we're only 10 minutes away from the yard. But yeah, we'll get this cleaned out, I think. That's the tank spotless. All we've got left to do is blow out the AdBlue lines, and we'll nip back to the yard, collect some parts. I think the third job today is looking unlikely, but we'll see. We'll try. We're trying. Okay, so far today we're doing a really good job of stripping machines down and not actually fixing them. Hopefully this is the first one of the day that we're going to get back up and running. So story of this digger is it had an engine management light on and it was saying that it had low engine oil pressure. Spoke to the driver yesterday and we discovered that the alternator wasn't charging. So me and Connor came down today with a new alternator, new fan belt, and discovered that the air conditioning compressor was all seized up. So I thought, no, the air conditioning compressors are quite expensive. The owner just wants the machine running to do some work, so he asked us if we could bypass the air conditioning compressor, which is that one there, and use a shorter belt. So we have been back to the yard, found a shorter belt. So we cut the original belt because it was knackered anyway, and cut it so we knew what length we needed. And the new belt should be 150 centimeters long that we need. Found a genuine belt off the shelf which is 151.5, so it should work. But first we need to remove this belt off the water pump, I'm trying to decide what all we need. 22's down there, they're awkward. 19, yeah, they are awkward. That's the tension in there. That's a flat at a time, that one. So we'll make a start on that. So yeah, then we called in at that 140, just wanted to go in there, clear the codes off it so he could keep running it, diagnose the problem and come back later in the week, but then we decided it was something that we could sort today, so we stripped that one out now as well. So when we're back today, we'll go in and get that one back up and running. That's that one done and sorted. We'll move on from that. But yeah, we're having like deja vu today because we've been here once already. So that's where we're up to. That is where we're up to. Okay, so we're on. Still got the fan guard to put on it, but we've got it rerouted. We've done an AC delete. So instead of a belt coming off the flywheel, up around that idler, down underneath that aircon pump, back up round the alternator, down under this idler, back up. We've gone like that. Tensioned up. What's the worst that could happen? Worst that could happen. What's the worst? Throw that belt off. In which case, we have got a new aircon pump with us, as well as a belt, to put it all back to standard. But I'm trying to avoid that because of the cost of the pump. And even then, we'd still have then the air conditioning system to all flush out because the pump's packed in. It's probably shot a load of metal through the system. It's probably a big mess. So I've just got this water pump belt to nip up. We have to check that the alternator is then charging. Then take it all back off again because the alternator isn't charging. We've also got a new alternator with us. But worth going it, so worst could happen. I'm trying to save this fella some money. He's not that bothered about the aircon, which is all very well at this time of year, isn't it? They're so awkward to adjust them. There we go then, people. What do you think? Is it going to spit a belt off, or is it going to be happy at that? Is it going to last? I mean, we don't even know if the alternator's charging yet. The thing was seized up, so we never even tried to spin it over to see what the alternator was doing. So I'm not out the woods yet. Not really even though, if the engine oil pressure light will go off. Should do. Should do. Look, no gloves. Preheat's on, that's good. Just check battery voltage before we set off. It's running. Oh good, I can see the belt from here. It's still on. Fan's going round. Water pump's going round. Engine RPM's good. No engine management light. We'll let it warm up to working temperature then. Make sure we've got no leaks or out like that. Yeah. What do you think? Was that a bodge? I mean, we were just doing it as the customer requested, so can't really say it was a bodge it and scarper type of a job. But yeah, pretty happy with that bush fix. Right, there we go. One happy customer. Hey, it's cold out there. It is cold out there. Right, 3:45. We'll be 45 minutes. 40 minutes, maybe even half an hour. Back to that 140. Be an hour on that, maybe. We're doing alright, we're doing alright. At least it stayed dry. Okay, we're back. I've just put the new AdBlue filter in. Connor is just getting the quality sensor ready to go back in. I suppose I can chuck a load of AdBlue in there while it's dead easy to pour in. I'm going to do that because we've blown through all the lines with the compressor before we left earlier. We're going to leave the line off at the injector because we're going to use the laptop to pump AdBlue, fresh AdBlue, through the pump just to try and flush it out a bit. I'm in two minds, I'll show you for why. I'm in two minds whether or not to try and pull the injector out just to give it a little clean up. The reason why I don't want to do it is they look pretty unfriendly. They don't really need to be in there. I should really have a look, but I just want to see. I think I'm going to leave it for now because I want to just make sure that the AdBlue pump's going to be alright first. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, you do miss that step that's there when it's gone. I'll get some AdBlue poured in there before I kick any more muck into it. It's nice and clean, it's all dried out. Yeah, delete what I said a minute ago. I changed my mind. Too curious. There we go. It's pretty clean. Good. That's all I wanted to see. We'll just give that a little spruce up, put that back in. Have you got a copper slip? Yes, we'll put some copper slip on those bolts. Good. So we've gone to the actuator test for the urea pump motor. We've got that set 50% and we've got AdBlue coming out the AdBlue line. We'll just set that off again because it's just stopped. Test in progress. He's got AdBlue running through that line. Good. We'll just do that a couple of times. We'll get a litre or so out of it just so we've got fresh stuff pumping through. Flush everything out and fingers crossed this customer doesn't need an AdBlue pump. Might be lucky. Might be. I don't know how long it's been run with that stuff in there. Right, we've got a couple of litres back out of it. So that's good. The pump has been happy pumping it. Connor's going to top the level up now because we're down to 20%. It's saying the AdBlue level is low. I don't need back in it anything in here, I don't think. So I'll put this back on. So there we go, we've had it running 15 minutes or so now. AdBlue pressure's good. AdBlue quality's there or thereabouts. It's not 100%. What's it reading there? 30%. 32 is what we're looking for. That could be an issue with the quality sensor having had diesel on it. I think it'll probably get better personally because it's had an oily substance across it, so it'll take a bit for that to kind of wash by, so to speak. But for now, as a course of not needing to throw parts at it, it seems to be running. Let's just give it the benefit of the doubt, let it do a week's work and go from there. That's my opinion of it. We don't need to throw loads of expensive parts on it just now. So I'll go and put it back where I got it from. I always, when I'm pulling away from the van, I always watch my tracks, make sure there's no tools on that are about to fall off and go underneath. I learnt an expensive lesson one day by not doing that. And well, there we go. Back at the yard, unloaded from today, 5:30. Oh, I'm ready to finish. I am tired. See you in the morning. Morning. Nah, don't worry, we're not working on that. DX235, zero tail swing. So we've got a strange fault with this digger. It seems to, when you're lifting, is how he described it, but when you're sort of digging a bucket full of earth, lifting it up out of the hole, it's very, very slow. So I got him while he was sat on the seat to look at the pump pressures just to give us a bit of an idea. So there's two functions that engage both pumps when you work in a digger. because when you're digging you need lots of power. So that function is dipper arm in, which brings both the pumps in. I'll put the pilot lever up. And they both read around 340-ish bar, there or thereabouts. And then when we lift the boom up, we should also have 2 pump operation. But we don't, we've only got the front pump working. So the boom up function isn't swashing both the pumps. So that is why it feels slow when we lift up, because we've only got 1 pump flow feeding those rams rather than 2 pump flow. Pretty sure the oil flow out of 1 pump will be around 150-ish litres per minute. I could be wrong, that's just a bit of an educated guess. But we haven't got a flow meter to check that, so I don't really care about that at the minute. So Connor is removing covers around the valve chest. I think we've got a spool sticking, a spool that brings both or allows oil into both sides of the valve chest. I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. I'm going to go and get my laptop fired up because I'm not 100% sure where said spool is. So for visual reference, this is the speed of the boom up on its own. Not particularly quick. Now what you can do is bring the dipper arm in at the same time, because the dipper arm will bring the rear pump in, but then you share an oil flow with the dipper arm and the 2 boom rams, so you don't noticeably see an increase in speed, but you probably will. If you had a flow meter on, you'd probably see an increase in oil flow. But I think that's the problem that we're chasing this morning. Okay, small development. Before we've started pulling spools out and getting oil everywhere, I've just spoken to one of my colleagues who said another of my colleagues had a similar problem on a 235, so I phoned and spoke to him. And he had an issue with a priority valve, boom priority valve. So we're just looking for it on this valve chest because he had it on a 225, which is different. But there is priority valves in the valve chest when you look at the schematic for this machine. And there's 2, one for the boom 2 spool and one for the boom 1 spool, and they're on opposite sides of the valve chest. And the one on boom 1 spool, the priority valve is before the bucket spool. So what I've been doing is lifting the boom up and curling the bucket at the same time, and then all of a sudden everything came right. And you can see here it's slow to react, but the boom is much quicker going up, and we're getting pump flow out of both pumps. So I think we now know which priority valve we need to pull out and inspect, because it's obviously sticking. So I think I'm right, and I think this is the boom priority spool here. The bucket lines here, is that right? Ow, hang on. Yeah, that's boom spool. Priority spool, and did I get that right? Yeah, that's bucket. So we're going to pull this spool out of here and have a look. Okay, so Connor has loosened these pipes off here, and we've just clocked them slightly so we can get this spool cap out. He's taken the quarter pipes off, so I'll let him pull the spool cap off and I'll supervise. He's just asked me what's behind there. I says, I don't really know, but 2 sets of eyes is we'll be able to see if anything drops out, but I don't think there will be. There might be a spring on this side. No, there won't be. No, there'll be a spring on the back side if there's going to be anything, because you've got pilot pressure pushing that way, so there has to be a spring to return it. Right, so we have successfully removed this valve, and it isn't anymore, but it was sticking. Since we've got it out and give it a wipe with a rag, there is a bit of marking around here, as you can see. So we'll give it a bit of a clean up and put it back in, and if it does continue to muck about, I'll have to get a new bit. But it's not been bad to get off, has it? And it hasn't made a huge Jurassic mess. But yeah, I'm not really very happy with the, I mean, it is marked because obviously it's moving, but when we got it out, it was stuck in that position like that. And there's a spring that pushes it out the way. I think that's all it could be. It is like a sticky valve, because once I started working the bucket, as I was lifting the boom up, all of a sudden it just went. And obviously this is I'll show you on the schematic, look. Here's your bucket, and it's this here, do you see? So it'll go up through here, through that non-return valve there, and this is your pump pressure, by the way, up into your bucket spool. But when you use the boom spool, you get a pilot feed coming into here, which then has a restriction in it, so that slides across, and it's that restriction there that then allows more oil to go up to your boom, if that makes sense. So if that's sticking, then perhaps that's what the problem has been. Perhaps. We'll see. We'll give it we'll strip it down, have a closer look at it. I'm pretty sure this cartridge here comes out of this piece here, because it's not, I don't know if that's unscrewing, is it? But anyway, we'll have a bit nosy over it. Okay, Connor's done a magnificent job of putting everything back together. So we'll just, before we have a clean up in there, we'll just have a workout, make sure the boom lifts up and it feels okay. We'll have a go. I did notice that this machine would benefit from a pilot accumulator, so but I don't think that's affecting this problem. Well, I think that's it. I mean, the boom up and down is certainly plenty quick enough. So we'll see how it goes at that. I'm not going to work too hard because we've got a door swinging around over there. But we'll get, Connor's got the brake cleaner there, we'll get that valve chest area cleaned up. And then we'll button all the doors back up and just dig a bit of fresh air for 5 minutes and clear off to the next one. So we're going to come here yesterday afternoon. With the way the work planned out yesterday, it was 5 o'clock, 5:15, finished at the 1:40, back to the yard to chuck everything off that we didn't need on the van, 5:30. We could have probably got onto this site and helped ourselves and got this boxed off yesterday, but I wasn't 100% sure what I was coming to and how long we'd need. So to be fair, the time now is 20:11. I think that's the wrong time. No, it is the right time. It's 20:10, so we've only been here an hour and a half. So yeah, probably could have squeezed this in last night. So, but anyway, it's done now. We've only got 2 high track services to get in this afternoon. They're both on the same site, so we should be able to box that off. Probably make a start just before lunch. So I've just been digging fresh air for 5 minutes while Connor puts tools away, and yeah, it feels good. Does feel a little bit jerky, and again that pilot accumulator will 100% cure that issue, so I'll recommend that to the customer when I speak to them later. Just as a point of reference, we saw how quick it was going up when the fault was present. show you now. Way quicker. So that's good. Right, I'll shut this machine down, head to the yard, pick up a service kit or two, and head away up into the woods. Looking a bit
Really?
It's what? We're heading to Scotland and it's raining. Surprise, surprise. Connor just described it as dreek. Dreek? Dreek, if you didn't catch that. Now I know what that means. But if you're from further down in the country, you might not know. It means miserable. And it is like. It is miserable. We've turned around and we're heading back down to England where it's drier because we didn't fancy the rain. No, unfortunately, a digger that we literally drove past on the way out of Carlisle. I literally looked at it. I seen it, and it's cut out. Won't start. Desperate for it, so going back the way. Be a straightforward fix, I think. I hope, and yeah, we'll still get these services done. I think if it is what I think it is, then we'll still be back at those two machines mid-afternoon. Get them rattled off. Right, Connor's been out there for 15-20 minutes now while I've been on the phone organising another breakdown that's ruined my plans for tomorrow. But I've just jumped out and that filter head was immaculate, which is frustrating. So I'll have to get the laptop on it to see what all it's doing. I'm going to tell you next. Yes, I need to phone this other customer back, tell him that we'll be down tomorrow to fix his machine. I need to organise parts for that while Connor puts that filter and everything back together. Fuel filter head was clean, but when I looked at the error codes with the laptop, it was a voltage connection problem to the fuel rail pressure sensor. If you've watched this channel a lot, that is a fairly common issue, and what we do is we just squeeze up the pins on the rail pressure sensor. We're going to sit in the car park over there for 15 minutes, have a bite of lunch, punch and load this dumper, make sure everything goes right. One of those intermittent faults that could do it while we're here, or tomorrow, or not again. You never know. It's quite handy having Connor running us about. I'm just doing a bit of research for a job. Where was that one that we did this morning? 235. It's gone back to how it was, which I'm still tempted to go with that priority valve, but I'm not 100% sure whether it is that. So I'm just doing a bit more research. Anyway, we're 2 minutes away from this first service. First service in here. Next one's further on around the road. Pretty sure that's the digger tracking out now. 1:30. I'm not doing too bad. We would have been here about 11:30-ish. Anyway, 500-hour service, so it'll only take us an hour. Well, probably less because there's bottoms on it. Right, you lot stay dry in here, and me and Connor will rattle around this. Two of us on the job. That's been 20 minutes or so. Just a 500-hour service, right enough. Yeah, there was a right heavy downpour at one point. Anyway, nothing's leaking, levels are correct, operator has no complaints, so we can go back to work. Job done. Right, here comes the second digger. We've come from over there and we've beat him to the roadside. You'll probably nose it into there, that nice clean stone. And this one needs the push start button changing for a key switch, because I've said it before, the novelty for people having a button to start the machine is wearing off. So, you're going to do the key switch and drain the engine oil, fill the engine oil, and I'll do all the filters and final drives and slew. Good? Good. Good. Game plan. Right, the machine number 2, we've got the final drives in the right position. So we'll begin. Right, we're all done. Connor is just, what's he doing? Putting the cab back together after putting the ignition switch in. I've just packed up. I've done my best to put everything away to where I think it goes, in a van that I don't know. I put that drum of oil onto there like that. I went, hell, that's a Clarty boiler suit. Connor must have been working harder than me. And then I just glanced at this boiler suit that I'm wearing. It's all damp, and this one's filthy now because I've been working in it, and then I looked at the name on it. So Connor's got a nice damp boiler suit to put back on when we go to another job tomorrow. Anyway, I'll wrap the video up at that for today, because all we're going to do now is start it, check for any leaks. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please click the like button. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate a subscribe button hit as well. If you haven't hit that, that's really important to me. It's free to do so, it doesn't cost you a penny. It just means that you get notifications every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday when I release new videos. Alright, see you in the next one.